to our friends and family, to all of you that are supporting A Tribe Called Dhillon podcast. It's the new year and the tribe is back in the house. I'm Angie Dhillon.
And I'm Rose Dhillon.
And I'm the one and only Alvin Dhillon.
That's right. It's the new year. 2024 is here.
Woo!
Woo! Not sure if you got a chance to see our reflection episode 2023. Please go and check it out. We reflected on the year. In today's episode, I'm not going to go back and say and look at, hey, what did we set our goals to last year? What did we promise that we were going to do, our SMART goals? Because I always say, don't look back, only look back to see how far you've come. So we're going to be creating some new goals today, some new goals together. Start thinking about your goals, but we're going to get right into our win of the week segment. Over to you, Rose.
Okay. So this is a really fun one. When I was married, I used to go for walks at night. I am a walker. I love walking, but I don't walk at night because it's just dangerous for women to go for walks at night by themselves. So I'd always wait for my husband to come home and we'd go for walks at night. And I just loved looking up in the sky and seeing the stars and the clear nights. And I stopped doing that because I'm by myself. And so the other day I saw a young woman. I was taking Miko out to potty at about 10 o'clock at night. And I saw a woman walking around and she was kind of going in circles. And I was like, oh yeah, like I live in a townhouse community that's kind of a very safe environment. So I went for a walk the next night at 10 o'clock at night with Miko. And I came back and I felt so great. Like I'm doing things that I really enjoyed. I looked up at the sky and I thanked Mother Nature. Like I live in one of the greatest parts of the world. I'm so blessed to have all that I have. And the walk was just a reflection of like, I can do this. I can walk alone at nighttime by myself. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. And you can do round blocks.
Yeah, I don't have to go far out. Yeah. But my community where the lights are on, I just go in those laps and it adds up to being 30 minutes. And it's, I feel safe because I know everyone's lights are on. And and I was like, I'm so happy that I went out and just saw her and then I did it. And yeah, that's going to be starting my nightly walks again.
Good for you. And big sister here now already hearing the wheels are turning
I saw
for me.
That. Yeah,
I'm like, I get nervous when you go because I was worried about my sister. Here's the thing. Okay, 2 things if you can do will help me feel better when you go for your walks. Okay. Number 1, get one of those whistles. Okay. Just like when someone's trying to come at you or foghorn. Okay. And second of all, carry mace with you in your pocket. So they won't know what hit them when they come from behind. You're like, sucker.
And I was funny. I was thinking my neighbor, Jordan, he's really great. I was actually going to tell him, hey, I'm going to start going for walks tonight because that way he usually watches TV downstairs, right? And he'll be there, so like he could hear, like, okay, something happens. I was thinking about going and telling him too. Yeah,
and just like every other American, just make sure you're carrying and you're strapped.
You never know. The world is not a safe place right now.
Oh, I know.
We are actually going to be talking about some more impactful content this year, some social impact stuff. And you're going to be surprised that human trafficking is becoming a big problem in North America. That's an episode coming to you soon. It's when I read the stats, when I saw that, and that's what was giving me the heebie-jeebies when you do that. So you just never know. There's always some perv around the corner looking for a break. So don't give that perv that break.
I can run pretty fast.
Okay. Over to you, Al, for your win of the week.
Mine's actually kind of cool. It's more of a work-related thing. I've realized that we're using Excel quite a bit in my new role, and we're doing a lot of data analysis, and I'm decent with it. I'm like basic level. I can do small things if there's not like a large volume of data, but now the volume of data is getting larger and larger. So my goal is I'm going to become an Excel expert by the end of the year. I'm going to start taking courses and doing practice, and I've been using a lot of Excel sheets, but right now I'm just figuring out as I go, I'm YouTubing things and I need to figure out for this piece of work, I got it done. But I'm like, this is not the best way to use my time. I need to figure out better ways to utilize Excel better. So I'm enrolling in some courses and I want to become an Excel expert because it is an extremely powerful tool.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Microsoft has some online tutorials free.
I'm already enrolled in Coursera. I paid for the month when I was taking another course. So I've got it for another few more weeks. And if I have to extend it, I will. But I'm going to take it through there because they have proper courses that give you the work, the assignments.
Proper structure.
You're getting the practical part of it. So that's what I need. So I'm going to do that because I actually want to. I've always been kind of afraid of Excel because I'm like, these formulas are crazy to like trying to figure out. But I'm at that point where it'll be something more I can learn, and I got to do it.
I'm going to piggyback off that win because the minute Al gets excellent at Excel, then he can help me format my stuff when my VPs have requests. I don't have to do too much stuff with Excel, but I just want to show off a little bit. And then
that's where I say it's the gift and the curse. Yep. Now that I have a skill, people are going to try to chooch off me and do it for them.
And it's your sisters are the first ones. First thing when he showed me, I was like, yes.
And I can't say no because I know where I live.
Yeah. And I own being a choocherama for this one.
Yep. Me too.
Yep. Okay. Over to my win here. I'm really excited excited. I had a friend of mine recently discover that we have a podcast, and she sent this message out, wanted to know what other platforms we're on, what social channels. And I don't tell a lot of people about it. I want that organic reach and that organic growth. Like if they find out like, hey, I didn't know you have a podcast. I'm like, now you know. But anyhow, she sent this amazing message, and I just want to read it out to you folks there. She just said, super, super proud of you. And I will definitely give it a listen. And please let me know if there's any other ways for me to support you guys. And I just wanted to say, I'm not going to say my colleague's name, but that's love beginning of the year. Like to me, wow. Thank you so much for that. And also thank you to all of you that subscribe to our channels across all of our platforms that are encouraging us daily. We can't thank you enough. We started this journey off a year ago, not knowing where we were going to, where it was headed, but we know where we were headed because for us, it was more like self-therapy, self-reflection. We wanted to leave a legacy behind when we look back 20, 30 years from down the road to say, hey, like we went out of our comfort zone and we did it. And as I said before, we're in the business of hope. Yeah. We're in the hope business. And we want you to know we have full-time jobs, but we're pursuing something that is bringing us a lot of joy. And we want you to do the same thing. And let's see where it goes together. Yeah. That's the crazy part. Like if this goes somewhere, which holy Jesus and Jesus take the wheel.
We're going to make it go.
We will because we're determined. But that's what we want to show you, that through tenacity, resiliency, determination, and through love and support, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. So
I want to add to that. Mm-hmm. And like, if you want to support us, it's really so simple these days. This is the beauty of technology. You don't have to give money. You don't have to show up to events. It's really simple. You just go on social media and you press the like button. And if you found something that actually resonated, or you know someone who could hear this today would help their day, just forward it as a share. It's really that simple. It takes maybe 5 or 10 seconds of your day, but that will help us grow so much. So really, we really appreciate all the people who are doing it. But if you're wondering, how do I support a Tribe Called Dhillon podcast? It's really simple. Just liking and sharing and subscribing.
Yeah. That's simple.
Yeah. And subscribing on all the platforms.
Yes.
So we are on TikTok now, which is growing quite fast. So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, all of those.
We're just trying to sell hope on all platforms.
Yeah.
Because that's what we were buying into. We kept looking for, before we got into this, we were listening to other podcasts. We're like, listen to this. It's so good. It makes you feel good. It's going to motivate you. And we're always needing that because I just feel like humans are hardwired to be anxious and worry about the future and worry about everything. And you're like, man, there's got to be a better way to live.
That's part of our survival mechanism, right?
Totally.
It goes back to like it goes back to when we were,
like caveman mentality.
Caveman mentality. Yeah. That's survival, right? We don't,
instinctual.
Like happiness should not, like, we think happiness has no place, but it should be, the journey should be happiness. And it should be, that hard work, that grit that you have to put into to basically benefit of your, is the word fruition?
Bring it to fruition.
Fruition. There we go.
The fruits of your labor.
There we go. That's what I'm trying to say.
Funny you said that. Had a question for me the other day. He's like, what is the sweetest fruit in the world? And I basically replied to him because I think I saw it coming. I was like, it's the fruits of your labor. He's like, correct. Yeah, and he heard that from one of my other uncles in Fiji that asked one of his kids that when he was younger. Someone asked him that, and he asked his dad. His dad said the sweetest fruit in the world is the one that comes from your own labor.
Oh, I love that.
That's amazing. Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. So this is our episode today. It is called Setting Yourself Up for Success in 2024, and just overall setting yourself up for success in life. The game of life, and we want to set ourselves up for success. So let's give it a go in today's episode. When I say SMART goals, I tabled this before. I like to say create SMART goals for yourself. Don't say like a blanket statement like I'm going to cut back sugar. What does that actually mean? You want to say, hey, for the next 30 days, I'm going to cut back sugar. Like give yourself a timeline and a timestamp to actually achieve that goal. So what SMART goals is, it's a business term. It stands for specific. So make sure your goal is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and it's time bound. Those are the 5 key ingredients to making sure that you succeed in a goal. So just be mindful of that when you create your SMART goals this year. Al, over to you. First question. What specific goal or goals do you want to achieve in 2024, both personally and professionally?
Personally, I'm going to say I'm giving up on the giving up sugar part of it. So that's not going to happen. really, I have to start exercising. I know everyone tells me all the time. I finally had to tell Rose to just stop telling me to do it, because when people tell me to do things out of spite, I don't know what it is, I won't do it. I'm like, oh, if it's gonna make you feel happy that I have to exercise, I won't do it. Just to be like, no, you're not gonna tell me what to do. And I learned that my body will tell me that if I don't do it, I feel it. So right now, I've got to the point where I drive by the gym. I'm circling around it. So we'll see how when I get to the point I get in there. The universe is telling me what it's doing is it's giving me more and more traffic after work that I have to go sit in. And the universe is like, hey, instead of sitting in traffic for an hour and 5 minutes, 10 minutes, why don't you go to the gym and you'll shave off 45 minutes and you'll get home at a regular time. Still haven't come around to it. I'm just sitting there in traffic, just like, okay.
Over to you, Rose.
What was the question again?
Okay. What specific goal or goals do you want to achieve in 2024, either personally or professionally?
Okay. So personally, I think I'm pretty good with, my diet's gotten a lot better. So I'm good there. I think I usually work out after work, and I find like sometimes it's not that great. So, I think what I'm going to start doing, I have started it, but I'm going to make sure I really incorporate it in New Year's. Morning workout, 30 minutes, and then an afternoon workout, and breaking it up, because I find like the energy starts crashing at 3, and that'll be my pick me up. So really making sure that I do, and then maybe start doing some Pilates and yoga, like maybe once or twice a month, going in somewhere. And doing that. That's my personal. And for professionally, 2 things. One is I definitely want to take another program. I'm not sure what I want to, well, I kind of know what I want to do, but I don't want to say it yet until I get all my ducks in a row. But that's something I'm thinking about, is taking another, some further education for my work. And then this podcast, I really want us to start getting some guests on. Like, let's start leveling up and showing our growth and growing with this by bringing on some guests that we can learn from.
Yeah.
How about you?
Same for me. Personally, I am going to continue what I've been doing this year last year, because it's working for me, eating healthy, cutting down my sugar, exercising. I am going to actually incorporate a lot more vegetables this year, and sautés, and maybe a little less meat. I have cut my meat, but I'm going to make more of an effort to make soups. I think I might buy a crock pot so I can help, it'll help me cheat some of my meals where I just dump everything in there and it's done. Cause sometimes, I'm not going to lie, at the end of a day, a long day, Subway is just easy. And I don't want to keep doing that, or meal prepping. Like, I'll sometimes meal prep on a Monday because I work from home, but because it's just me at home, I don't want to keep eating that for 5 days a week for breakfast or for lunch and dinner. So I want to try and be some more creative, like quick 30-minute meals that I can mix up. So for me, that's what I want to do personally. Professionally here, same thing. I want to take the podcast to another level. I want to have deeper conversations. I want to create more impactful content, and I want to bring on more guests that are going to help us grow and help our audience grow together.
That was pretty much my thing, because I didn't say anything about professional. That's what I'm wanting to do too. I started another career path, but it's like, I just want to learn that. It's really cool about learning about supply management, but also the future is I want the podcast to remember, I was saying at the beginning, I was like, I want guests within the first 6 months, but after 6 months, we're still trying to figure everything out. Like, we need a good year before we get like the lay of the land. And we just recently kind of came to conclusion of how we're going to start doing the first remote podcast, how that's going to work, and then how guests in person are going to work. Cause it's not easy. It's a lot of switching things up now from what we had, switching it back when we were not going to be here in person. So a lot of, as far as our IT, a lot of infrastructure change and things that you have to work out.
And the other thing is, the other reason I didn't want us to jump, yes, we did have our Fuferji on at the beginning of our podcast, because we wanted to let our listeners and our viewers kind of start getting to know our personality. And it was very important for me to spend the 1 year for you folks to get to know who we are and what we stand for, and the type of things that we struggle with, and the type of things that we want to work towards being better. So I hope in the last 12 months, you've gotten to know a glimpse into our personalities and the things that we like and some of our vices. And that's what makes us all human, because we can connect to one another. So I wanted to really spend that 12 months before we brought anyone on for you guys to understand what is our message, what is our motto, and what is our purpose, and what's our why. So I hope we did a good job explaining that.
No, I think you're right. And it was like the first year of us just figuring this out, right? I mean, we were really, really growing and learning out loud, like with everything. So I think you made that decision of like, let's focus on the first year of understanding the lay of the land and what we're doing. And now that we're comfortable in front of the screen, that's another challenge, is being comfortable in front of a camera. That takes a lot of effort, especially for someone like me. Ange and Alvin are used to public speaking. They're used to being out and entertaining hundreds of people. That's not my wheelhouse. So the challenge was definitely really for me. And they were both really, really great at just embracing that. Okay, Rose is going to be a little slower to the party because I wasn't comfortable being in front of the camera. The first episode we taped was like 3 times before we got it right.
Frozen like a popsicle.
Yeah. And I think, you want to, when you bring someone on, you want to put your best foot forward. And for us, we were still navigating the challenges. Is our camera working? Oh, the red light stopped. Oh, one of our microphones doesn't work. So we wanted to just make sure that we know now when we're on the podcast, when I see the red light stops on the camera or when our microphone's not working, we're equipped now because we've had experience now, 52 episodes in to catch these things. So if we were to bring on a guest, there's nothing worse than bringing on a guest and then your recording didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that was important to us. Let's get to the next question. Are there any habits or practices that you're thinking about incorporating into your routine to set a positive tone for this year? Alvin.
I think it's actually starting to recognize and know my boundaries because I always find that I can, I'm going to try to pack in my day. If I'm going to be done work, I'll come and do a couple other things. And it's not feasible. When you have to fight traffic and go into an office and then come home and fight traffic, I get it. Like when you're working from home, it was a different vibe. You didn't have to deal with that. You had a little more energy. But when you come home exhausted, you have to know when to just stop. And now you have to refuel for tomorrow because I would try to be under the point or be under the system where, okay, I came home, I'll try to edit now, get this done and be out. But you come home, you're like, I'm mentally drained. If I do this again, I'll be so exhausted for tomorrow. And then unfortunately, our day jobs is what is funding our podcast. My priority has to be there. I've found that I have to leave the editing till Friday night where I'm like, okay, I got a little bit of energy left because Fridays tends to be a little bit of a more chill day. Then I can do that. And also saying no to my roommate sometimes. Like they tried getting me today because it was snowing. Say, oh, can you go pick up some sweets for me from my friend that I have to drop up to work? And I literally had to say not kind of nicely, but no, I was like, no, you need to go do this yourself. I was like, you can't keep relying on me to go and do everything for you. There's a vehicle. You figure it out. If you can't drive there, and tomorrow you can't get her the sweets. And you got to, because I can't be doing everything because when I try to do too much for everybody, I deplete myself and then I'm the only one suffering after. Like, why am I so exhausted now? I'm not listening to my body. I unfortunately am not as strong as people think they are. Like, oh, I'm superhuman. I know my limits. I'm not that strong. When I do too much, my body gets inflamed. I need to listen to it.
Yeah.
Good for you, Al. And I find that the roommates do rely on you a lot. And the roommates are also poor planners. Have you noticed?
Yes.
They don't give you any notice and they expect you to do it right then and there. And it's like, why don't you do it? It's that you're semi-retired.
Yeah.
We work full time.
Yeah.
And then we have the podcast. So we have 2 jobs.
We have 2 full-time jobs.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay, Al, good. Well, that's a great one. Rose, what about you? Any new habits or practices you're thinking about incorporating into a routine to set a positive tone for this year?
Yeah. So you know how you're the queen of smoothies and you make the best smoothies and they're filled with like a nutrient packed drink and it's tasty. And I've tried a few times and not good. I'm going to actually work on it in 2024 because I don't do breakfast, as you know, and sometimes with meetings, I just skip to lunch. I need to have something that's a good fuel packed, healthy
and
drink.
You already have a Vitamix.
And I bought the Ninja like she has too. And so I just need to get some lessons from Angela as to how she packs everything in because her consistency is perfect.
Layers you gotta put in
my consistency is just like too thick or too runny and I've got to figure that out. So that's a goal I have written down for 2024 is to incorporate more green smoothies into my life. And then the second one was what I said earlier, which was I need to stretch more. I like to walk. I like to run. I like to dance, but I'm not really good with the stretching. So, and I feel I'm tight. So Pilates or yoga is going to be my wheelhouse. And I'm not going to commit myself to like, I got to go like 4 times a week. Once a week or once every 2 weeks. I'm going to make it reasonable because I've got a very hectic and busy life. But if I go twice a month, I'm happy with that.
Good for you. I'm actually good. I've received a lot of people that ask us beginning of the year, do you recall when we'd have our smoothies and they could see them? I've received a lot of DMs. People ask me, how do you get your smoothie so purple or, and all that. So I'm actually going to be doing a smoothie hack. So we've got some hacks and beauty hacks and things that,
in the works.
that are in the works. So stay tuned for that. The other thing that I am going to, for me, that I find that it's working for me. It worked last year and I'm going to continue carrying it on is I'm going to cut back sugar. I'm going to continue with that. I just find for me as I'm getting older, man, sugar causes a lot of havoc on my system, inflammation, my joints will ache and ache. And then my new one lately is that when I'm sleeping, the ball of my feet starts to inflame. Have you felt this? And you've told me to dip it in magnesium.
Yeah, you know what? I honestly think that's stress because I'm not going to lie to you. It's come down drastically. So I really do think it's not processing the stress. Like remember I tell you, the body keeps the score. I think that there might be something that you have to work through because has gone.
Dang it.
I put in magnesium.
My thing is, I've always had this problem, and I got it the other day because we had so much sugar in the office every day. I get an earache. My ear actually swells up. I can't put a Q-tip in there. And I know if I stop sugar just for one day, it goes completely away.
Wow.
It's a buildup. It'll happen when you're just hammering the sugar out, because I said no, but every day in the office, because it's holiday season and I sit near the executive wing, every meeting, these guys are rolling out carts of like sweets, and they bring it right to your desk. Like, hey, would you like one? And I'm like, no. And I'm reaching for it. And I'm like, oh, yes. I'm like,
and I've realized that. And for me, I thought it was like when I get at the ball of my foot, and it's only on one foot that I consistently get it. I was like, is this an early sign of arthritis? And another thing that scared me is when I was talking to our friend Shiv said that, you know what actually fuels cancer cells is sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, dang. Yeah. I want to live as long as I can. So for me, I'm going to continue with a really being mindful with a healthy lifestyle this year. Next question here. Is there a skill that you're itching to learn or improve in 2024? Al?
I want to start honing more my comedy skills. I have to what's the word? I have to organize it into like somehow, so I can start being like learning how to write, learning how to like develop my craft. And that's what I need to work on. So I'm going to start off with putting out more funnier videos. It won't be all the time because it's hard to create that kind of content, but I'm going to start at least once a month to put out something funny, because that's what I enjoy. I'm not a serious person. I don't take myself seriously. I don't take life seriously. Like that's me being me.
And that's a reasonable goal. Once a month, that's very reasonable.
You're going to finesse your crap.
Yeah. And once again, I'm a liar, so it might not happen once a month.
Okay.
I'm the editing queen. I'll figure out a way to get that.
So Al may or may not finesse his craft.
May or may not is the key word.
I was going to say finesse your crap, but it's craft.
I like to keep my expectations
Rose, over to you. Any new skill that you're itching to improve on in 2024?
My leadership skills. Watching you develop that, will already have that. And I really, really admire that about you. And I realized in order for my profession for me to evolve in my profession and get to a place that I want to get to, is I really need to hone in on that. And so that's where entering into a new educational program that's going to allow me to start honing on those skills, because it doesn't come naturally to me. It's something that I have to work at.
Oh my, thank you. Yeah. We are going to have a leadership episode coming out soon, because I want all of you to feel empowered and have that level of emotional intelligence and have those leadership qualities. Because I'll tell you right now, our generation and the next generation, we have to be the generation of change. Yeah. Because I'm so tired of constantly hearing about war, about bombs being dropped, about human trafficking, about health issues, about gun violence, about bullying, about,
and just access to health. And
just what's happening in the world today. Like, it's such a dark, dark time. And honestly, we have to be that generation now that stands up and have change. Like, why are there still countries that don't have running water? Why do women and young girls still don't have access to basic needs and like education? We have to empower one another, because when we empower each other, I'll tell you right now, it is a freaking domino effect, and we will all benefit. We don't benefit from war. We don't benefit from crime. We don't benefit from gun violence. You know what we're doing? We're freaking just setting ourselves backwards. And enough is enough. And that is, I think, one of the reasons why we started this podcast, is because I can't sit back and watch any more injustice happening to people. I'm getting really emotional because I don't have any children. Perhaps in my next life I will. But when I hear that children in other countries don't even have a shot right now, what's happening in Israel and Gaza and what's happening around the world, parents have lost their children in the war. Yeah. These kids didn't even get a chance at life. And we have a chance, and we're stuck about our mundane problems or about this stuff. And half of our problems, I'll tell you right now, we self-created ourselves because we don't take accountability. Yeah. So our generation, the next generation, we got to set each other up for success. And the tribe is going to show you we can make such little changes that are going to help our community, help our family into being better human beings. And then we're going to raise better human beings. And then those human beings are going to continue to raise human beings, better human beings. And that's going to be our legacy, y'all.
And I want to add to that, if I've learned anything from doing this podcast and working with these two, teamwork makes the dream work. Like we're all connected. We all have to help each other elevate, motivate, inspire one another to grow and be better. So to add to what Ange said is when someone's hurting, that's a part of us. We're all connected. So when someone's, losing their children or dying in war, we're connected to everybody. So we're all affected. And so when we wonder why times are dark, it's because yes, it's happening on the other side of the planet, but we're still getting affected by it. Yeah. So we have to be the change that we want to see in the world.
Yeah. We have to stop all this ego and whatever power and people's mentality. Like is the basic level of kindness just gone in human beings now? Like, do we really want to see people suffering? I don't get what value that brings. It brings nothing. If anything, that suppresses people. So I think we have to we got to talk about these things. And that's why I'm so excited this year to have more social impactful content and things that we talk. And we got to start rocking the boat together on issues now.
Yeah, let's
do it. For me here, what's a skill that I'm itching to learn? I brought this up on our closing year end. I'm going to learn to play the piano this year. Like, I know it's something just driving me up the wall because I usually like to tackle things, but I don't know why I can't play in tune. I can't even play one song.
It's because it's sitting right next to you too every day. You see it. You're like, this is something I don't use. I'm not doing this. I can see it. It's just bothering you because it's not going to use. It's basically taken out and it should be played, right? It's meant to be used.
It's meant to be used.
Yeah. And I was gifted an amazing keyboard piano electric one, and it's got the footstep, so it feels like an actual piano, but I haven't played no tune. And I even went and bought notebooks to show the basic. it has labels across with the note. It's so dummy proof and foolproof to learn to play music, but I haven't played nothing. So that is something that I really hope. I'm not even going to give myself 12 months. So that's the time stamp I'm putting on to measure my success.
Give yourself a goal, because like in elementary school when you used to learn how to play the flute or whatever they give you, learn how to play hot cross buns, because that was the most basic one. If you can figure out a tune, then you can get to the next level.
By end of the year, I will play a tune on the piano and you're going to see my growth in 12 months. I don't care how long it takes me, but I think 12 months is a doable time.
And I'll make a reel of Angie playing a song.
I'm not saying I'm going to be any good, but I'm saying I'll get it done. Okay, on to our final question, y'all. What steps do you plan to take to ensure that you're set up for success this year? What ownership and what are you going to do to hold yourself accountable to make sure you have a great year? Rose.
Ooh.
Good question, eh?
Very good question, yeah.
I got it.
I'm not sure what I'm going to do because I'm already pretty hard on myself, so I'm not sure how much harder I can get. But I think like you said, setting those goals and having them in writing in my room to remind myself, these are the goals that I've written for 2024. And I'm going to be really strategic with making sure I pick because my goals are usually pretty big, they're like larger than life ones. So I'm going to have just 3 or 4. I told Eller that I had too many in 2023, 3 or 4 goals, and I'm just going to have that reminder and then just slowly work my way towards it. I'm not someone who doesn't achieve my goals. I'm a lot like her, which is if I set it, I'm going to do it. So I have set myself 2, 3, I think 4 really big goals. I won't say them yet because they're all work in progresses, and I will at some point talk about them. But there's 4 goals that I've got myself for 2024, and you better be damn believe I'm going to do what it takes to accomplish all 4 of those goals.
Good for you. My philosophy is the 1, 2, 3 approach, because top your first one, top your second one, and your third, because those 3 are doable. When you start taking on more than you can bite off, then it's just like, oh no. So do the 1, 2, 3 approach. I always say that.
Okay, so I reduce. Okay, I think that's. I got 3. Yeah, I got 3 major big ones. I can knock off the 4th.
Al, you?
Read the question again.
Okay, I was hiding my answer so you guys don't see. Fine, where did I put it here now? Okay, here. What steps do you plan to ensure that you're setting yourself up for success this year? What personal ownership are you going to take to make sure that you hit your goals and it's a productive year?
I feel like it's going to be a continuation of what I'm currently doing, because whatever I'm currently doing has been working for me, and I'm seeing myself actually actively being, I'm trying to be mentally stronger, and I'm working my way towards that by taking steps I felt it today. I was like, man, I haven't meditated in a week or 2. I kind of felt it, and I was like, wait, no, you have been meditating, because what I've been doing in the mornings when I'm sitting in traffic, I don't like to listen to words. It's a piano music. So I listen to my meditation music that I have when I go to sleep. It's like binaural beats. I listen to that in the morning, and I've learned to just literally accept the traffic. I was like, you know what? It is what, but this is temporary. This is not forever. I was like, by me going through this traffic and going to work and doing what I need to do, I'm telling the universe, look, I'm putting in the work. So I want to get to that next goal. I'm manifesting it by going through this, because that's what it was doing. It meant for me to go that way. It's like, you worked at home, you've done that.
Yep.
It didn't work for you because I'm a people person. I need to feed off the energy in person. But for me to get there, everyone has to start their day around 8 or 9. You can't start later than that because the day just goes too long. So you got to go through the traffic. But I said, I can't get myself upset every day over traffic, because it's twice a day. You'll start your day off angry and then you're going to end your day angry. I was like, that's not going to happen. I was like, just let it go. So I've learned to just take extra time. I leave an hour and a half before, and I just cruise. People cut in my lane nonstop, but I don't care. I'm that guy that's driving, leaving all this gap between me and the next person, because as soon as I speed up, they slow down. And you play this game and you get caught up in, I need to get to work faster. That's not the way to start your day.
Right.
So I found, just zen yourself out, relax, leave yourself plenty of time, and let things unfold as it happens. Don't try to rush things. Don't try to learn so much today. By the end of the day, just take in whatever you can. You did your best. As long as you put in a solid day's worth of work, I know I feel good at the end of the day. When I try not to do that, or I try to have an easy day, or I say, no, today I don't want to do anything, and it's just the beginning of the week, it's actually, you don't feel good at the end of the day. But when I put in a solid week and I say Friday, okay, today I want to chill, I internally feel good, and it's a different feeling you get from trying to avoid work.
Good for you, Al.
Yeah,
Awesome.
wow.
Yeah, so don't avoid the work. You have to do it.
Yeah,
That's the
don't
only
avoid the
way
work.
you feel good, is when you know you took on that challenge, you did it, and you're like, that's right, and I did that properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we all have a ceiling point, right? There's only so much you can retain and absorb, and after that, don't be so hard on yourself.
Exactly. Just let
Good
it
for
be.
you. In closing for me here, what am I going to do this year to set myself up for success? I'm so proud of this one. I'm going to surround myself with like-minded folks who help to build me up versus tear me down.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I said this previously, that I want to have a coach at work. And so I want cheerleaders now.
Yeah.
Because I cheerlead all the time for everyone. If I love you, I love hard. And if you're in my circle, you best believe I'm going to be your cheerleader. But I feel that that's not always reciprocated in return to me. So this year, I'm coming to a city near you and looking for some cheerleaders.
There you go.
Nice.
So she's just, if you want to sign up to be Angie's cheerleader.
We have to find those people that root for you, love for you, cry with you, and sit, as Simon Sinek says, sit in the mud with you. That's why I'm looking for a mud partner.
Yep, you and me both, girl.
Yeah.
Yep.
So with that closing, this was our Setting Yourself Up for Success episode. Hope you were able to connect with us and get some stuff and some, nuggets to help you set yourself up for success this year. It's 2024, folks. We're going to crush it this year. Until next week, take care of yourself. Think about your win of the week and how you are going to crush it this year. A Tribe Called Dhillon podcast is signing off. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, share, and check us out on all of our social platforms. And why do I feel from the corner of my eye that Al wants to say something?
I am going to say something. That's right. There you go.
Okay.
I was saying, a happy new year from everybody, and we wish you nothing but love, light, and success in 2024. Just remember, if whatever you want in life, you need to audit your own self and your life and say, what changes do I need to do to start working towards that goal? It won't happen right away, but if you start just putting that out there and start working towards it, saying one thing I'm gonna change today, one thing I'll change, and then you do it the next day, after a month, you'll realize, wow, I just did like 20, 30 days of changes, and that shit adds up. And that's the definition, it starts manifesting. You start actually putting in the work, and the universe starts responding. Try it out for 1 month and start paying attention. You'll start seeing synchronicities come your way, and you're gonna say, oh, that's kind of strange. Yeah, because you were putting that out there, you're putting the work for it, and the universe was responding. We started hearing that from our own cousins. They're saying they're starting to actively make a little bit changes, and they're feeling better. They're mentally feeling better. That's what you got to do, because guess what? You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And in closing, I got a really, really good quote that Al actually just reminded me of. If you actually go onto Micro Medical Artistry, our friend Shiv put this amazing quote today, and it's just so poetic as we close. And he put here, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Profound.
You're right. That's what's happening. With everyone we know that are wanting to make a change. I had to change my perspective when I looked at things. The only change, then it started happening. When I looked at it the way I was doing before, it's from a negative point of view, and it's very victim mentality, complaining about life. Like, we can start this conversation about cost of living, cost of everything, but really, what's that really going to do for you besides bring your mood down further and feel like you can't climb out of this? You got to change your perspective and look at it. It's just money. You'll figure it out as long as you start today and start making a change towards whatever you want to do to get yourself happier.
And sometimes you have to change your circle.
Yeah.
And, you could be my cheerleader.
And money will work its way out. Just start working towards trying to be happier and trying to get out of the victim mentality.
Great wise words.
Yeah.
So happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hey.
Wishing you all a great year and love and light. We're signing off until next week. Bye for now.
Bye.
See ya.